Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso Weekend.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Josie Ortegon. Police are responding to a SWAT situation in West El Paso this morning. Police have blocked off the 6700 block of Cresta Bonita and Westwind. Our newsroom is working to get more information on what they're responding to. As soon as we do, we will let you know. And fire crews responded to an early morning church fire in East El Paso. This is video from Around the Clock news crew just after 5 this morning. This happened at the Faith Assembly of God Church on the 11,400 block of Turner. When fire crews arrived, they found heavy smoke coming out of the church. Fortunately, they were able to bring the fire under control within minutes. The church was not occupied at the time, so no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And on a lighter note, UTEP beat Middle Tennessee 24-21 in a close game last night at the Sun Bowl, which means the Miners will be heading to a bowl. They'll find out where they're heading to on December 7th. That's when bowls will be announced. Congratulations to the Miners. Meanwhile, the UTEP basketball team will play Washington for the DirecTV Wooden Legacy matchup. That's tonight in Fullerton, California. Both teams are currently undefeated. The Miners are 4-0, and the Washington Huskies are 5-0. It should be a great matchup for both teams. The Miners are trying to get another win after beating Xavier. Tip-off is tonight at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. Moving on to Storm Track weather now, let's get a look at your first forecast with Storm Tracker Dan Martinez. Dan, a nice day in store today.
We have a nice day ahead, and we're going to start to see some clouds in the middle of the work week. But in the meantime, I do want to talk about what we have as far as our clouds and radar picture right now. And you see a lot of those clouds already getting ready to move through portions of Vegas and Phoenix and slowly making their way closer to the Albuquerque area. And taking a closer zoom in here, you notice El Paso, well, we aren't seeing much in the way of clouds as of right now, but you know what? Our temperatures are looking pretty nice so far this morning. 53 degrees at the Tech 2.0 Center. The Greater El Paso landfill reporting 55 degrees right now, and our winds across the region, well, they still are holding steady, especially Guadalupe Pass at 18 miles per hour right now for them. And as far as our headlines, well, we're expecting the lower end of breezy today, cooler temperatures for tomorrow and through your Tuesday, and then we might have a shot at some rain again. We'll talk about that coming up in your full forecast just minutes away. Josie?
Thanks, Dan. Frozen with fear. That's how police describe a boy found after missing for 4 years. Police say he was kept behind a fake wall. Mark Winnie explains how police were finally able to find the boy.
Opened the compartment where he was, and I saw him and asked him to come forward, and he was horrified. He was frozen with fear.
Good police work and hard determination by the victim who wanted to be reunified with his mother.
And he retreated away from us until he knew that those people weren't around him.
She says the child reached out for rescue. Clayton County Police Sergeant Joanne Sutherland says a 13-year-old boy downloaded a phone app so he could text his mother in Florida he hadn't seen in 4 years.
We got a welfare check in reference to a child saying that he was beaten. We came here to the home and were able to get inside the home, talk to the people inside. After several minutes of denying that the child was here, that his existence was here, and that there was ever any assault or anything like that, we were able to find him in the linen closet.
The police department did an excellent job by coming out here and responding to the 911 emergency call. We have 5 individuals who have been charged with various charges.
I just couldn't believe it. That, I mean, we found him, we saw him. To say it was a great feeling was an understatement.
What did he say to you?
He just couldn't thank us enough. He just kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Just overjoyed that we had found him.
Sergeant Sutherland indicated the biological father and stepmother faced charges of false imprisonment, cruelty to a child, and obstruction.
Children who are being abused need to reach out by any means necessary, whether it be cell or text, to get help, and don't stop. We will find you.
That was Mark Winnie reporting. Crews in Austin are cleaning up the damage left behind after a man sprayed 3 buildings in downtown Austin with bullets. Flags mark the spots. Police in Austin found shell casings, and the spray paint shows where the shooter's car was parked. Police say the shooter targeted the Austin Police Department, U.S. Courthouse, and Mexican Consulate. Investigators believe the shooter was anti-immigration, but they will never know. He died in a shootout with police. No one else was injured. And at least 15 people were arrested in Ferguson, Missouri over the weekend as protests flared. Hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets to protest the decision against indicting Officer Darren Wilson. Yesterday, Wilson announced he will resign from the force. He's been on administrative leave ever since he's shot Michael Brown. And a touching moment caught on camera at Ferguson-related demonstration in Portland, Oregon. Check it out. In the picture, you can see a 12-year-old African-American boy and a police officer hugging. It happened while people were gathered to protest the grand jury's decision not to indict Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson in the death of Michael Brown. Devontae Hart was at the rally holding a sign offering free hugs. Tears were streaming down his face. A police officer approached him and asked him why he was crying. Hart told the officer he was concerned about the level of police brutality towards young African-American kids. The officer said, "Yes, I know, I'm sorry," then asked if he could have one of Hart's hugs. The photo was later posted on Facebook and was shared more than 150,000 times in a matter of hours. It's been dubbed the hug shared around the world. And we had protests of our very own right here in the borderland yesterday. A few members of the community gathered near UTEP in what was meant to be a sign of solidarity. A silent march down Mesa tried to call attention to the more peaceful side of the unrest in Ferguson. And the woman who was shot by a gunman at a Nordstrom store in Chicago on Friday has died. John Garcia has the latest.
She turned 22 years old yesterday, and her family reportedly planned a surprise dinner for her after she got off work at Nordstrom downtown. Instead, she spent the night fighting for her life at Northwestern Hospital after being shot in the head by her ex-boyfriend. It's a fight she lost this afternoon. According to DNA info, she had no brain activity, and doctors reportedly kept her on life support until they could harvest her organs. The store, where she had just begun work as a seasonal employee, issued a statement tonight saying, "We are deeply saddened to learn that our employee who was injured in Friday evening's tragedy passed away this afternoon. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family and friends."
It's been a really sad and scary situation, obviously, to be involved with if you were there. We're a family at Nordstrom, so obviously our people are very impacted by this, and we're doing our best to support them today.
The medical examiner has identified the gunman who turned the gun on himself after firing at his ex-girlfriend as Marcus D., 31 years old, who allegedly stalked the woman. He and his ex and her family had all at various times reportedly requested orders of protection. Some shoppers who were unaware of the shooting arrived at the store today to find the doors locked and this note on the door.
When it happens in a shopping mall, you know, that's the average person, and that makes one think.
Reporting. The holiday shopping frenzy is on. Many shoppers were up and out early Black Friday trying to snag some deals, and Paul Verkaman tells us about an unusual seller with offers that were so good they're criminal but totally legal.
I'm at the Property Room warehouse here in the City of Industry. There's several of these warehouses around the country. Right here, bicycles, about 2,000 of them. All these hot items were hot. Almost all of it. Stolen evidence contributed by 3,000 police departments around the country. They ship to all over the country, and they may soon start to ship to Canada and Mexico. Items include everything from desktops. These are scrubbed and cleaned, they say here, by the Department of Defense standards, so they wipe all of this off.
Make sure that people don't get other people's information or, you know, explicit pictures or anything crazy like that.
And then if you go down the line here, you'll see all sorts of other items up for bid. You've got a snare drum, you can get yourself a backpack blower, and even a karaoke machine. And then over here, power tools galore, and even a brand new chainsaw. Property Room was started by an ex-police officer who saw an opportunity here and seized it. And so, as we said, you've got items that were taken in by all these police departments that nobody claimed.
Police departments like it because all they have to do is just follow the program. By listing the item, take pictures of the front, left, right, rear, etc., and put it up online for auction. Typically, it's a 50-50 split.
And by the way, if any of the items are bad or counterfeit or fake, they just go ahead and destroy it. Now over here, a very interesting room. It says JW Center. JW stands for jewelry and watches. So where does all this stuff come from? All over. Look in here. Evidence labels. This one from Indianapolis. A homicide, it looks like, in Kansas. This is the jewelry room. That's why the small bags. And if you look around here, some astounding deals. They say this bag alone probably worth more than $100,000. This watch, a Patek Philippe, estimated at $60,000. Next to it, a presidential Rolex, $35,000 to $40,000. And on this jewelry and 95% of the items in here, the opening bid on the auction is $1.
That was Paul Verkerman reporting. Still ahead on ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend, cuts for cancer. One local hair salon is helping those with cancer. Details coming up. And in Storm Track weather, Dan.
Well, we're expecting a pretty nice Sunday and even a nice start to our Monday, but could we see some rain come into the forecast later? We'll talk about that coming up in Storm Track weather.